Alright, hello, my name is Isaiah Saldana, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to apply for your driver's license. Now, if you don't know, I was a driver. Alright, now let's define what is a driver's license. Now, if you ask your parent who might have one of these, a driver's license is a little card that allows you to drive a vehicle. Now there are four types of these cars. There's your basic driver's license, the basic DL, Class C, motorcycle license, which is Class M1 or M2, travel trailer slash fifth wheel, non-commercial Class A, and house car slash motorhome, non-commercial Class B. Now that is the highest license. And the lowest one, Class C, which is the one you will be obtaining for, which will allow you to drive a standard vehicle or truck on the road. Alright, here's an example of a car. As you can see, very simple, very easy. Now this might look very complex to drive, but I assure you, it is very easy and simple, and anyone can do it. Now, you're probably asking, how do I obtain one if you are a minor? Well, it's actually two very easy steps. Now, first, you're going to have to obtain your permit. Second, you're going to want to take the behind the wheel test. Now, you're probably wondering, what is a permit? I meant how to get a permit. Now, how do you obtain one if you're a minor? Well, here are the basic steps that you need to achieve in order to qualify to get your California instruction permit. It's also called the learner's permit, and it has a whole bunch of different names, but a permit is a permit. So, yeah. You have to be at least older than 15 and a half years old, but under 18. You don't have to be under 18 to get a permit, but for this example, you have to be above 15 and a half or under 18. Now, you need to have completed your driver's education and completed the driver's license or ID card application, which is online at the DMV. Now, driver's education, right? If you are older than 17 and a half, you do not need to get driver's education. Now, later in the lesson, I will tell you what behind the wheel training is, and if you're under 18, there's no way to get by it. You have to have driver's training. But if you are older than 17 and a half, you will no longer have to complete driver's education. Now, what is driver's education? Well, you are a minor, meaning that you'll have to take classes about driving, because that's just how America is. Now, here I have two links to some driving schools around the AV. There's the Quartz Hill Driving School, which is led by the Quartz Hill High School, I think. I'm not sure. I don't know why I said that. I don't think it is anymore. And there's the High Desert Driving School. Now, you can take driver's education in person or online. When I did it, I did the online one. And that is because the online one cost around $20 to $30, while the in-person one is, I think, about 4 hour long classroom sessions for an entire week. Right? So I would recommend to take the online one and read the book. Now, I'll probably throw in, while I'm editing the video, some of my book that I learned from. I went to the Quartz Hill Driving School and did the online one, so I'll probably throw in some screenshots so you can see what it looks like. Now, but what does it consist of? Well, the online book consisted of chapters about laws and driving etiquette, how to act on the road, how to deal with certain situations, and how overall just being a good person. Right? And between each chapter, because it's like a textbook, are mini quizzes that you have to complete in order to move on to the next chapter. And at the end, there's a big test at the end of the course that you need in order to obtain the certificate. This is what it'll look like. If you take it online, it'll probably be mailed to your house, and it'll take a couple of business days. But if you go in person, they'll probably just sign it and give it to you if you're able to complete the test. If you're not able to complete the test, they'll probably just have you retake it. If you go in person another day, if you did it online, you can just retake it the next day. It's completely fine. Alright, now remember, the completion of the certificate of completion of classroom driver education is not a license, as it says at the bottom, or a permit to drive. This is just a certificate that you need in order to apply for your permit. Now, this is how you'll be applying for your permit. The California driver's license or ID application. Now, what you have to do is you have to go to this link, and I'll probably have this presentation linked in the video, right? So you'll go here and you're going to click right there where it says driver's license and ID cards. Then you will apply for a new DL/ID. Right? You'll be taken here. Well, you're going to click on Start Application. After that, you're going to select your language. I'm going to go through this kind of fast. Now, this is what I need to stress. This doesn't mean that if you agree, they're going to take your organs. Okay? That's not what it says. There'll be another question if you want to give your organs when you die. But this is just a disclaimer. Now, assuming that you've never created a MyDMV account, you're gonna click Create MyDMV account. I already have one, so I was able to log in. But you're gonna want to click Create MyDMV account and create your MyDMV account. Very simple. You're gonna type in your email. It's very easy. Then you're gonna then they're gonna send it to your email, right? And after that, you're just gonna click I have completed my DMV account registration. I'm ready to log in. Now I don't have screenshots for this, but steps 3 through 5 are just stuff that's like date of birth and other personal information that you need to put in order to complete your MyDMV account. Once you've done that, what you're going to do is, as you see, it says account sign in successful. So you go on your phone or whatever, open up the email, put in your stuff, and then you're going to click on that blue button at the bottom of the last screen, and it'll take you here. Account sign in successful. Now, assuming that you are a minor and you're getting your license for the first time, you're going to click get a driver's license or ID card for the first time. Then you're going to want to click both on driver's license and ID card. After that, you're going to want to click on have you ever had a California driver's license or ID card? No. If you have had an ID card, because you can get an ID card, you'll click yes. Right? But assuming that this is the first time you've ever done this, just put no. Have you ever had a driver's license or ID card from another state? No. And this does remind you that state road laws differ from state to state. If you're in California and you go to Texas, your California driver's license will not work over there. I'm pretty sure they have some sort of method so that you can just get your Texas one. You don't have to go take the permit test over and over again. But if you are stopped by the police and you show them that you have a California driver's license, they're going to be like, this ain't California, and shoot you in the face. Alright. Once you do that, you're going to want to apply for a real ID. Now, a real ID will allow you to fly state from state or enter military bases, right, with just your real ID. Now, flying state to state used to require your passport, and it still does. With this, all you have to do is just bring your ID. So if you're going to fly from here to Florida, all you have to do is show them your real ID, and they'll let you on the plane. Easy as that. If you don't have it, they're going to assume they're going to hijack it and fly it into a building. But if you have your real ID, it's really simple. You just do that. If you had a real ID before filling out this application, before doing this, you've traveled from state to state, and you have a real ID, click no. Because you cannot have two real IDs. Because let's say you have one and it hasn't expired yet, and you click yes, and you go through the application, and they look at your application and they say, well, you can't have a driver's license and a real ID because they're both going to be on the same card, your real ID and your driver's license on the same card, and you already have a real ID. They're not going to let you get your driver's license until you update it and click that you don't want to apply for a real ID. There are some issues that can happen if this arises. Like, for example, my sister, she had a real ID and then applied for her driver's license and clicked yes here. Then she took the permit test, she took the behind the wheel, and they never mailed her driver's license. And that is because the DMV was like, oh, this person already has a real ID and we can't put it on the driver's license because they already have a real ID. So let's just throw away all their application and never tell them. Right. So which card would you like your real ID on? You're going to put it on your driver's license. That's how mine is. Now you're going to fill out some personal details. I'm not going to tell you what you should fill in because this is going to vary from person to person. From experience, I've seen this vary from person to person. If you have a social security, well, you're going to click yes because I'm going to assume that you were born here in the United States. If not, it'll take you through a different process and other stuff like that. But you're going to click yes because I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching this video has a social security number. Type it in, special numbers. Now, do you qualify for a reduced fee or ID card? Now, I have not seen a person eligible to qualify for a reduced fee or ID card, and I've seen some really poor people. Now, you have to do it in a completely separate form, and you have to fill out all these things and even see if you're eligible for it. I would suggest no, because there is going to be a small fee at the end of this of about $41, and if you have $41, just spend it. But if you want to see if you qualify for the ID, you're going to have to fill out a form, and it's going to be an entire process. Alright, you're going to click here for what type of vehicle do you drive. Car, basic, class C. Right, that's the license that you're getting. The lowest tier. Do you have a firefighter endorsement? You probably don't. Do you know what a firefighter endorsement is? No, you don't. Will I explain it? No. You can't drive a commercial vehicle because you're too young. I'm sorry. If you wanted to be a semi-truck driver, you can't. You have to wait till you're 18. Alright, personal details. Now, if you're having trouble filling this part out, then you're going to want to email me where you live and your social security, and I'll do it for you. It's okay. I know it's hard. Personal details. The person that filled this one out was 5'8", weighed 130 pounds, and is non-binary. Now, I will tell you a trick. So, when you get your driver's license, and you put your gender as non-binary, if you don't know this, insurance companies want your license, and based off of your gender, they're going to price you. If you are a male, they're going to make you pay more, because statistically, men get into more car crashes than females. So they're going to make you pay more for your insurance. But if you click non-binary, you see where I'm getting here? That does work, by the way. I had a friend that does that, and they do pay cheaper insurance. But that's just something to think about. If you're not comfortable doing that, of course you can't. And if you feel like putting non-binary would be offensive, I'm not saying to do it. I'm not really endorsing you to. Just put whatever you feel like. Now, this is where things get a little crazy. If you have a medical condition that affects your ability to drive, you could not be eligible to even get a driver's license. Because there are some people that are severely epileptic or have that disease where they just randomly fall asleep or have Parkinson's, right? Or deal with substance abuse. Those people aren't actually allowed to have a driver's license. If you are epileptic or you have episodes where you lose your memory, but it's very rare, you can get your driver's license. It's fine. It just has to be a medical condition that affects your ability to drive. Now you're going to want to click no because I'm going to hope that you all are young, healthy people and aren't drinking thousands of gallons of soda every day like I do. History. Have you ever applied for a driver's license using a different name? Now this is where they're going to try to trick you. You're going to click no because you haven't done it before. Right? Has your driver's license ever been canceled, refused, suspended, or revoked? No, because this is your first time doing it. How could that ever happen? Well, anyways. Have you served in the military? I hope none of you have served in the military. If you want to serve in the military, good for you. But you're going to click no because you're way too young to be in the military right now. Now, would you like to be an organ or tissue donor? Now, I am, and a lot of people make fun of me because they say, oh, if you are in a fatal car crash, the paramedics are just going to let you die so they can take your organs. That's not true. That is illegal to do. They are sworn in by the Hippocratic Oath to help people as much as they can. If they let me die, that is breaking the law. Right? And right there where it says $2 voluntary contribution to donate to Life California to support organ and tissue donation. If you want to spend $2 more, your total cost for this application will be $43. If you don't, it's okay. Are you a U.S. citizen? I'm going to hope you are a U.S. citizen. If you are not, then that's too bad. This is the part where you're going to want to, this is the part where they're going to ask you to pre-register to vote. And when you pre-register to vote, you will be put in the draft. If you are a male, then you will be put in the draft, and it is illegal to not be in the draft, apparently. So if you're thinking, oh, let me just decline to answer or not fill this out and just skip the pre-registering voter thing, they're going to send you mail and be like, hey, you need to sign up for the draft. Just in case we go to war, we need bodies. We need bodies. But anyways, I hope you're a U.S. citizen. So you can either register to vote, say yes or no, or decline to answer. No and decline to answer, pretty much the same thing. But anyways, it's just asking if you meet the requirements. You can read that yourself. Which best describes you? I want to pre-register to vote. I am registered to vote and want to update my voter registration information. I do not want to register to vote or update my voter information. Now, of course, I'm going to assume that you want to be registered to vote. If not, skip ahead in the video. So it's just going to inform you on the types of mail, on the types of ways to vote in elections, what a political party is, the language that you choose, and contact information. So you're going to fill it out. I put Democratic Party. I did not mean to screenshot it when I had Democratic Party. I'm not putting in a subliminal message. People, whatever party you believe in. Yeah. Oops, where'd I go? You're going to want to put English unless your primary language is Korean. Put Korean. They have a lot of different languages. Now, would you like to receive election information via text or email? I would say no because they like to spam your email a lot and it gets annoying. So I would put no. But if you want to get information because you're a big political head, go ahead. Okay, so now this is an important step. Because you're under 18, you need a parent or guardian signature to complete your application. If you click My Parent or Guardian Will Sign Electronically, then it'll bring you to another window where your parent or guardian will sign electronically right here. If you click that they'll sign at the DMV, it'll pop up saying that your application will not be finished until you go to the DMV. Now, that doesn't mean you'll run into any problems. All you have to do is bring this application, head to one of the DMV windows. Now, when you walk into the DMV, how it's usually set up is there a long line to check in and whatever. This is where you're going to sign. And then afterwards, they're going to take your name and you're going to go sit in this big old place with chairs and wait till you're called to a window. There at the window, they'll process you and they'll do some other things that I'll get into later. Right? I would suggest if you can sign electronically just to do that so that your application can be done, filled, and you're ready to go. But if you can't, you need to sign the DV. You'll have to jump through a couple more hoops. If you are an emancipated minor, you don't have to worry about your parents because you are emancipated, like the proclamation. Alright, and then after this, it'll take you to your application review. Quickly review it, make sure everything's okay. Now your fee, it will be $41, right? And you can add more things in for whatever reason, Class A, B endorsements. If you want to, you want to. If you know what it is and you need it, get it. Do what you do. But base cost will be $41 to pay. Now, here's important. So, you're going to need one proof of identity, right? Which has to contain your full name, first, middle, and last, and your date of birth. Your birth certificate or your passport can work. If you have an ID, you have an ID. You can do that too, right? I would suggest to you your birth certificate because after this you have to provide 2 proofs of California residency. And this could be a mortgage or a utility bill. So you can put your waste management bill, you can put Edison, which is the electricity company, and electricity company bill, your mortgage bills, if you got a mortgage from State Farm or Chase or whatever, right? All it has to say is either your parents' name, because I'm assuming you're living at your parents' house, right? And the address. And now the reason why I say you want to use your birth certificate is if you put your mortgage bill and your dad's on your mortgage bill, right? Your dad is on your mortgage bill. Then when they look at your birth certificate, they can see, okay, your father is Martin. Your father's Richie Valens, right? Your father's Richie Valens, and it says here on your birth certificate, and Richie Valens is paying a mortgage at this residency. It links you, and that's your best bet. If you put in something that like kind of makes it, cause like kind of iffy, like if you just put, oh yeah, this is his credit card statement, this is his billing address, they might not accept that. So I would suggest stick with either a mortgage or utility bill, and to use your birth certificate for your proof of identity. After that, that brings us to the permit test. Here, let me go back real fast. After that, you click continue. Now, I did use my friend. I filled out his application. All he has to do is do this, and then he can go take his permit test. Yippee! All right. After this, then all you really do is save and continue, and then pick a day to go to the DMV. Now, you can schedule an appointment, or you can kind of show up, but it doesn't matter. Oh, I forgot to mention that they're going to want to get photos of your birth certificate and your bills and whatever, and you'll have to upload them to the website. But anyways, you'll get there when you get there. You schedule your appointment, and then you get to go to the DMV. Now, what do you do at the DMV? You take the permit test. Now, you're probably wondering, what is the permit test? Well, the permit test has 46 questions, and it is all about laws and driving situations and stuff like that. You are required to at least get 38 correct questions. I have linked here some practice tests that you can do. It's 46 questions. You have to get 38 right. And you just answer them, and they're very simple questions. Most people can actually take the permit test and pass without even studying, right? But that's only some people. So some tips to pass this test. Many of them will be logic-based questions, right? So if you simply skim over the DMV handbook or take that or course, the online driver's education. If you take online driver's education, you'll be fine, like completely fine. If you read it or pay attention in the class, you'll literally be so golden to take the test. Like, it'll be really easy, right? But anyways, most of the questions can be answered by logic. Like, for example, if you are going to an intersection that has a stop sign, right, and there's only 2 stop signs, right, there's only 2 stop signs, one going this way and one going that way, who do you yield to? Well, you're going to yield to the people going this way because they don't have a stop sign, so they don't have to stop, right? So as long as you can think of it like that, you'll be fine. But I do suggest before the day, right, study about laws about insurance or rules that the DMV has, specifically days questions, the question, sorry, study about insurance or the rules that DMV have, because they have some rules where you have to do something by a certain amount of days, and those you can't answer by logic. You'll just have to guess. And if you're a good guesser, you get it. But tell me, can you answer this by logic? How long do you have to notify the DMV when you sell your car? You'd assume right away? A week, a month? No, 5 days. How long do you have to report a collision to the DMV? You'd think right away. No. You have to do it within 10 days. You have to call the police right away and your insurance company right away if you get into a collision. But that's that. You can't really logic those. You have to know those if they ask you that on the test. Now, another popular ones is, what are these signs? Now, I'll give you a minute to try to guess. All right. So the one all the way to the left, the triangle, means slow-moving vehicle. On vehicles like tractors, small go-karts, or even a horse-drawn wagon. This will be there, meaning that they cannot exceed past 25 to 30 miles per hour. And you'll have to be a little patient with them because they are slow. And that is right, a horse wagon and the horse has to be registered by the DMV, even though they're the Department of Motor Vehicles. The middle one means a divided highway. Now there's traffic going this way and there's traffic going this way. They have 2 lanes, and usually they're divided by a little painted line. But some roads actually have a wall, and some people crash into these walls when they don't notice it. So they have a sign to notify you that there's a divided highway coming up, and you'll probably have to move a little bit over here in order to not hit the wall. The last one means that there's a suicidal deer in the next 1 mile. And this is actually a fairly common occurrence. Deers are very suicidal. They jump in front of your car and just stare at you. But I'll just decide, this is a very common one where they'll say turtle crossing, horse crossing, moose crossing in about a mile. And they'll just have a picture of the animal and then how far you are from them. And you will have to yield or stop or try to accommodate the animal so you don't hit it. Now, checklists. Everything that we just went over, let's ramp it up. So qualifications. You must be 15 and a half or older, right? But under 18. You have to have the certificate of completion of driver's education. You have to complete that long form, right, application. Then you have to have your parents sign said application. Now, this is just a reminder on stuff that you need to bring to on DMV day. Bring your identification, birth certificate, and the 2 proofs of residency. If you paid the fee online, or if you pay there, you can do either or. And take a vision exam. Now, the vision exam is self-explanatory. It's like the one, if you've ever been to an optometrist, they have you look at this little piece of paper that has one big letter and then rows of letters that get smaller and smaller. Now, when you get called to the window, right, so let's say it was me, you're looking at me, and I'm like, all right, time to take the vision test. I'm going to point up and behind me, because behind and up to me is that little piece of paper that has all the letters. And you have to pass that vision exam. If you fail that vision exam, then they're going to stop you, and they're going to be like, well, you can't continue on, because now you have to go to the optometrist and be in an extra document and whatever, and it become a mess. If you have glasses, and you don't like wearing your glasses, but you need your glasses, wear your glasses. Because it doesn't matter if you pass, it doesn't matter if you're like, oh, well, I have glasses, I just don't wear them because I don't need to see. If you fail that vision exam, it's Jover. It's Jover. Anyways, I have this in the wrong order. After that, you're going to take the written test. You're going to get an 80% on that, which is 48 questions. And then finally, you get to take your photo. And then congratulations, you've completed the first step on getting your driver's license. Now they'll hand you this piece of paper. Sorry, I think I'm being a bit loud. This piece of paper that is your instruction permit. Now, Keep in reminder, your permit does expire. Right there where it says issued 07/12/15, it'll expire exactly 1 year after that, 07/12/16, 2016. It'll have your personal information. They're going to staple a couple papers together. That's a bunch of other stuff, right? A couple special rules with your permit. You cannot drive with your permit until you have an instructor sign it if you're under 18. Now I'll explain more what that means in a minute. 2, it is not a license. You cannot drive with this. If you get stopped by the police and you're like, oh, I have my instruction permit, they're going to shoot you on sight because you're not supposed to be driving with this. You have to have somebody older than, I think it is, 25 in the car. I think it is 25. About somebody that's 25 years old in the car that is watching you. You can't get insurance with your instructions permit. So as long as you're driving with the person that's insured on the car, you can drive the car. It's okay. But other than that, remember, this is not a driver's license. You can't drive by yourself if you just have this. Now, this brings us to the next step. Step 2, taking the behind the wheel test. Now, this step actually has 2 more steps. You have to complete behind the wheel training and schedule an appointment for the behind the wheel test. Now, what is behind the wheel training? So, like I said, you need 6 of the requirement. If you're under 18, there's no way around this. You have to do this. You need 6 hours of behind the wheel training with an instructor. And that same instructor is the instructor that will sign your permit to activate it so that you can actually drive with it. Right? Here are 2. Like I said, Quartz Hill and Desert High are 2 driving schools around the AV. There are more. You can go wherever as long as they're registered with the DMV and everything. Right? It gets kind of pricey. It can get up to $300 to $400 to get the 6-hour package so that you can be trained behind the wheel with an instructor. Now, what do these training lessons, whatever, consist of? Well, you get 2 hours with your instructor. You get 3 sessions, 2-hour sessions, right? And during the first 2 hours, they're going to sign your permit, and after that 2 hours, they're going to let you go. They're going to take you back home, whatever, right? And now you can drive with that permit with your mom, your dad, your sibling, as long as they have a license and have held their license for a while. Now, what do? Well, they drive around you and teach you how to drive. Very simple. That's all they do. I will tell you that if you're kind of looking at this and you're saying, wow, I have to pay $30 for education, then $300 for training, and then $41 for the fee, that's expensive. Well, you could wait till you're 18. You could wait till you get close to 18, like 17 and a half. Get your permit at 17 and a half. Wait 6 months till you're 18, and then bada bing, bada boom, you have your license because you can get your license without doing the behind the wheel training. That's if you want to do that. But I'll go over some benefits later on why you need to, why you should get your license at a young age. But I'll go over that at the end of the presentation. But anyways, you have to get 6 hours of this training. It has to be with an instructor. They're going to break it down into 3 2-hour-long sessions. They're going to drive. You're going to be driving around with them, and they're going to be teaching you how to drive. When I did this, it mainly consisted of me in the driving seat, the person over there, and them telling me to go on this street, make a right here, make a right up there. All my instructors were chill, so I pretty much chatted with a guy for about 2 hours. Really overpriced. Did I learn much? No, I probably could have learned this with my dad, but it's just required by law to have those 6 hours. Because at the end of those 6 hours, then you get another certificate, but this time it's orange. Right? This time it's orange. This is the certificate of completion of non-commercial driver education. Right? Your instructor will sign this and they'll give it to you on your last session at the end. And now keep a reminder, this is not a permit or license to drive. You can't have this and show it to the officer and be like, oh wait officer, but look here, I have my permit, my certificate of driver's education, my certificate of the other driver's education that I have. I pretty much have everything. No, you have to have your license. Anyways, so now that brings us to the final step, the behind the wheel test. All of this anticipation leading to here. Now, disclaimer, you have to hold your permit for at least 6 months before scheduling the behind the wheel. So after getting your permit, after getting your permit, you have to wait 6 months. So let's say you get your permit in January. You have to wait till June to take your behind the wheel. That's just how it is. You have to hold it for 6 months. Even if you have every other thing done, you did your training, you did your education, and you got your permit, you passed the test, you still have to wait 6 months. You have to hold the permit for at least 6 months, right? It's very important that you know that because you can schedule your appointment without, you can schedule your appointment before those 6 months are up, and then by the time you get there and you wait like an hour in line, and they get to you, they're going to be like, oh, well, you don't have it for 6 months, and they're going to send you home, and you're going to cry. Anyways, what is the behind the wheel test? Now, the behind the wheel test consists of 2 elements, the pre-drive check and the driving portion. So before driving around, they're going to test you, right? And it's important for me to tell you that you don't have to fill out any application for this. All you have to do is schedule the appointment, right? So behind the appointment, how to schedule it, right? So you're going to want to go back to that other link that I had, the My DMV, and instead of clicking on driver's license and ID cards, you're going to click on appointments. We're not going to talk about it. I just want this to be over now. Okay, so back to doing this. Type that in. Oops. Alright, so now if you live in a different area, sucks to suck, because I know the route for the DMV takes you on for the driving test. But if you live in Lancaster, you're going to type in the Lancaster zip code. Well, if you live in the AV, because there's really only one DMV that's in the AV, and it's the one in Lancaster, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Alright. So you're going to type it in, select your DMV office, then you're going to select a day. When you select a day, it'll tell you what time you want to do your appointment. Now it's good to remember that the driving test takes a lot less time than it does to do when you go in the day for your permit, because you just go in, you check in, and then you wait with your instructor. Because what you do is you go into the window, they give you a number, you sit down, you wait to be called, you get processed a little bit more because you have to show them your certificate of completion and your permit. Then they will tell you to get in your vehicle, because you do have to bring a vehicle, to get in your vehicle and drive over to the side of the other side of the building and wait there for an instructor to go on your test. Right. One important thing to mention is that on the Lancaster one, you'll see it. It's pretty much to the right of the building. Kind of looks like a drive-through. You're going to wait there until the instructor can get to you. Now, if you go early in the morning, you'll probably have good chances of getting your instructor really fast and waiting a good 30 to 10 minutes. If it's a busy day and it's packed, you're going to have to wait like an hour or two because they only have a couple instructors, and they can only take out so many people at a time. Right? So I would suggest taking one before 10 o'clock, early as possible. When if you want to go later in the day, go later in the day. But you do face the problem of driving in the dark area during dark times, and if you are kind of bad at driving in low light situations, just take the morning. Anyways, so what will happen on test day? Now this is the first portion. This is the pre-check. Now I'm your instructor. You're sitting in the car, right? I'm going to tell you to check the brake lights, and you'll do that by pressing the brake down. Lights will flicker, lights will go on in the back of your car, and if they see that it's in working order, check. turn signals. They're going to tell you to the right, to test your right turn signal, and then your left turn signal, right? Now, if they see that one of your lights are broken or your turn signals aren't turning correctly, then they're not going to be able to take the test because you don't have a functioning car, right? But anyways, if they tell you left and you hit right, they will make fun of you. I nearly did that. I did that because when you take the behind the wheel training, your instructor will probably inform you on what will happen during test day. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Depends on what instructor you get. But anyways, just make sure that you know that up is right and down is the turn signal when you flick the little thing. Then they're going to tell you to hit the horn to test if it works. And then before they get into the car, they will test you on your hand signals. Now let me step over here. They're going to tell you to stick your hand at the window and do your left and signal that you're going to go to the left. Hand signals are what you do when your turn signals don't work. You're going to stick out your hand like this. This means left, right, coming to a stop. Right? Now they're going to tell you to do that. They're going to say, all right, now show your hand signals. And they'll either tell you do the left, do the right, and do the stop, or they'll tell you to stick out your hand and you have to go left, right, stop. Make sure you know those. If you don't, that will be checked as a point off, right? And if you get 15 points off, you fail the test. But I'll go more over about that point system later. Then the instructor will step into the car and they'll give you a little test. They're going to ask you to point out your lights. So you're going to look at where your lights are, go point at them. Tell your turn signal. So this was the steering wheel. Turn signal. Windshield wiper, probably on the same side, different for every car. AC, somewhere over here. Defroster. Now, if it's cold, if you're doing this during the winter, they're going to ask you where your defroster is, because it's very important that you know where that is. Then they will ask you to point your emergency brake and at each one of your mirrors, right? If you fail to point at one of these things, it will be counted as a point off because you're supposed to be familiar with the car. So if you've been practicing in your dad's car, take your dad's car. Right? If you're practicing driving on a rinky-dink car, and then the day of the test you get your nice parents like clean car, familiarize yourself with these. Because if they tell you point at your lights and you don't know where the lights are and you panic, that's a point off, and you really need all the points you need because you'll miss a couple points during the driving portion. Wait a minute. I think if you're a minor, you can get... No, it's 15. No, I think it's 15. I think it's 15 if you're an adult or a minor. I'll probably put it up in editing what the real answer is. Now, what will happen on test day part 2? The driving portion. Well, the driver is going to test your skills driving skills by beginning the driving portion of the test. Now, I'll pull up Google Maps right now and show you how it is. So, when you go into the DMV, there's like 2 different gates, right? Depending on which gate you go out of will choose the route. But pretty much expect this, right? So you're going to go out. This is also, by the way, if you're watching this and you live in Texas or whatever, this is going to be a different route. You can probably Google the route depending on the popularity of the DMV. But this is the one they took me on, and this is the one that you'll probably go on. So you're going to head out of the DMV. Anyways, but hold on before I continue. I'm telling you this so that you can go over to, when you're practicing driving, so you can go over to the DMV and practice the route yourself. Even if it doesn't take you on this route, it has the same elements. So you're going to go out from the DMV, and you're going to be on, I don't know if you can see it, but this road right here. Then you're going to go out to 10th Street, right? They'll either take you down that lane, or they'll take you down 7th Street West right there, and have you go on 10th Street from W Avenue L8. You're going to make a right onto 10th, and you're going to keep going till you hit the intersection, which will have a light, and we'll say West Avenue L, right? And you're going to make a left onto there. Now, if your instructor just tells you, because there's 2 left lanes, there's two left lanes you can go into, both go left, right? Right. Both go left, so it doesn't matter, right? And they tell you get on the right left lane, you get on the right left lane. So if this was lane 1, lane 2, you get onto the right one. They tell you to get onto the left one, you get on the left one. If they don't tell you, pick the right one. And that's because you're going to drive on West Avenue L all the way down and you're going to make a right turn. And if you're in the right left lane, you'll be on the rightmost lane so that you can make that turn easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But you have to follow the instructor step by step. If they tell you to get in the left lane, you get in the left lane. But if you have the option, get on the right one. So anyway, so you're going to go down Avenue L, right? And you're going to keep going down Avenue L until you reach this neighborhood, which I circled. Now, varies from different people, but they take you into this residency area, right? Avenue L. So you're going to go into here. You'll see a little bus. There's a bus sign that's next to it, but you go into there, and they'll tell you either to make a right or a left. Doesn't matter, because then what they're going to test you on is they're going to tell you park at the curb. Now this is the order that you're going to want to do it in, right? They'll tell you park at the curb. You're going to identify the place where you can actually stop the car. You're going to hit your right turn signal. Then you're going to Then you're going to move on over to the curb and then park. Then, afterwards, they're going to tell you to put the car in reverse and reverse back. And what they want to test is that you can go in a straight line backwards. So you want to be parallel to the curve. I don't know if you can see my bed. Let me check. Hold on. Let me see if I can move my... Oh, no. Oh, yeah, you can see it. Okay. So, right here, right, you're going to want to be... If I'm the car in my chair right here, you're going to want to be parallel. Then you're just going to reverse, right? And you're going to do that by checking in your rear view mirror, right, and looking behind you, right? If you don't check your rear view mirror or look behind you, they're going to mark you off. Even though you're going back in a straight line, you're going in a straight line because you're just holding the steering wheel straight, they're going to mark you off because they're going to want you to do is you're going to put your arm around the passenger side, right? And you're going to turn your head like this, right? You're going to turn as much as you can so you can see behind in the car's rear view window, right? You have to see behind it. Then while you're doing that, you're gonna want to glance, look over at your rear view mirror, make sure you're going straight. But they're looking for this motion. If you're doing this motion, you're looking back. Even if you're not looking back, even if you're like BSing and you're just looking back, they just want you to look back. Because it's really much about your body language during this test. If you are like, okay, let me look at my mirror, look at my blind side, and you just go, right? They're going to mark you off a point. They're going to be like, you don't check your blind side. If you look at it and you look like this, exaggerate a little bit. Like, be like, what? There's a car? Then they're going to be like, this is a phenomenal driver right here, guys. But anyways, so that's what they test you on. They're going to put you into the industrial. Not the industrial. They're going to turn you into the residential area. Remember, you can't go faster than 25 miles per hour. Have you park at the curb. You're going to want to hit your right turn signal, park at the curb, reverse, and then when you're going to go back on the lane, don't forget to hit your left turn signal to indicate that you're going to go back on the road. If you don't hit your left turn signal while you're going out and continuing the test, they're going to mark you off a point. You have to. But anyways, you can see right there, you kind of point out, you're going to head back onto the road, going on to W Avenue K8. Now they might take you out of the road so you can make a right on 20th and then make a right there, right? Onto W Avenue K, or maybe they'll take you out and put you on 15th Street West, then you make a left and then make a right on W Avenue K8. Doesn't matter, you're still going to end up on that road. Then you're going to keep going all the way down. You'll cross over a bridge until you get to another intersection that will have lights. This time you're going to make a right, so you're going to stop at the intersection, right, if it's red. Check for cars, and then just make your right turn. Keep in mind, even if you're going into the crosswalk, because there's a crosswalk right there, even if you're going into the crosswalk to check for traffic, right, because you can't see that far, they'll mark you off a point for going into the crosswalk section. You're not supposed to do that, even though you can do it, and it helps you because then you can see more cars to the left. They'll mark you off a point. But anyways, you're going to make a right, and then you'll be back on 10th Street, right? and you'll be back on 10th Street so that you can make a right back onto W Avenue L. And this is going to be the same road that you made the left onto to oh wait, sorry. No, wait. You're going to go down 10th and you're going to make a left. I forgot. It's facing that way. Anyways, but you're going to make a left and you'll be back on the same road, the same intersection that you were earlier when you made that left, and I was telling you like you have to pay attention to what your driver instructor says and follow them to an exact. Anyways, so you make the left onto this road, then you're going to make a right on the corner where this Windshield Donuts house is and the Panda Express is, onto 8th Street. You're going to go down till you hit that place, and you'll be back at the DMV. Very easy test, very simple. If you want to practice it, get your parent, go to the DMV, and practice it. I would suggest going into the parking lot that's right across to the DMV to start the test, and then going onto the roads, and then going into the same neighborhood and just practicing that a couple times. But when I did it perfectly my first try with my instructor, and then when I did the DMV day, perfect instructor, I actually missed no points. So, anyways, great thing that happened to me. So, if you have the time, I would suggest to practice this. Now, finally, this is almost the final slide. Very tired. So some tips and tricks, alright, to taking the behind the wheel test. This is real talk right now. So first thing, stay calm. Do breathing exercise. Meditate before. Don't meditate while you're in the car, because you have to close your eyes to meditate, and you have to have your eyes open when you're in the car. That's just the rule of law. But don't freak out or panic while driving. If you are a person that gets really anxious with your instructor, hold off taking the test until you can get to a point of driving where you feel comfortable, right, with just driving, so that on the test you're not stressing. Because if you stress out during the test and you freak out and you have to stop the car or you fail the test automatically, then you're going to have to wait like a couple weeks in order to take the test again. So just really stay calm, breathe. If you're an anxious person, practice, keep practicing until you can get to a point where you can do the test with your eyes closed. But don't do the test with your eyes closed, please. But another thing to remind is that the test is a lot easier than real driving. The test is about 5 minutes. The little route that I just explained, that's like a 5-minute drive. At most, maybe 10 if you hit like all the lights and you're a slow driver. But anyways, so you'll be pretty much, your instructor will get in, you do it, done. Your instructor gives you the little score sheet, because they have a score sheet. Right? If you didn't miss more than 15 points, congratulations, you got your driver's license. You did it. All right. Now, things to remember. Always use your turn signals at every turn. Even in the parking lots. They will mark you a point if you don't use your turn signal in the parking lot. Because, for example, when you get out of the drive, the little drive through, that's right there where you park your car and you're waiting for your instructor, right? They're going to want to make you, and they're going to tell you to make a right so that you can go out on the gates. If you do not hit your right turn signal, they'll be like, you got to do that. Point off. Terrible, terrible thing. You don't want to get a point off for something that's dumb like that. Another thing that a lot of people don't know that that people mostly get marked off a point, and this is why I pretty much had a perfect run, right? Is that when you're getting out of the gate, right? There's a stop sign. You have to stop, but there's also a sidewalk that's right there. Then after the sidewalk, you drive over the sidewalk, and you go into the road. You have to stop before you hit the sidewalk. Check for pedestrians, and you don't want to exaggerate, right? Then roll forward. Stop again before you hit the asphalt to check for cars. And then you can go. If you do not make 2 stops there, instant point loss. And it's sad that most people get get only 1 point off rather than 0 like me, right? Because that's just if you know that, you can easily prevent it. Another thing, like I said, turn your head to check blind spots. If you're looking over to your right to check your blind spot, you're going to want to break your neck and look that way. Right? If you don't exaggerate, well, you don't have to, like, exaggerate, you know. I'm not saying to, like, hit one of these, you know, just, you know, make it obvious that you're checking your blind spots. If you, like, if you are going down, like that road that I said, the, the big road after making the left onto 10th Street on W Avenue, whatever it was, right? And they're going to tell you to make a right into the neighborhood, and they'll say that's indicated with a bus sign. If you can't see it and you're panicking, just slow down. Don't drive past it. It doesn't matter if you're driving a bit slower than usual. You need to slow down. And this is just a good rule if you're driving in general. If you don't know where the turn is, drive slower. There's no shame in it. Just drive slower, spot it, and then make it in. It's better than just zooming past it, or zoom in and then realizing it's there and then have to turn the wheel and everybody's like, what? Right? Anyways, another tip, always follow the instructor's instructions. Now, what I mean by that is that sometimes the instructor's not there to give you trick questions. They're not going to say, oh, go onto oncoming traffic, go onto. They're not going to do that. Right? For example, I always thought that if you were making a left turn, right? If you're in an intersection and you're making a left turn, then you have to land in the leftmost lane, right? When you're making a left turn, you're going like this, right? You have to land in the leftmost lane. Turns out that if there's not a person across from you making a right, you can go into the other lane. Say like it's 2 lanes here and you're making a left, and you think, oh yeah, I have to go in the left lane, the one right here. No, you can go in the other one actually. You can just go onto there. When I was taking the test, I thought that was illegal, and my instructor told me to go and get in the rightmost lane, not the left one. Right? So when I made the left one, they yelled at me saying, oh, why would you do that? Are you stupid? Did you forget? Right? And I said, no. And remember, these people are very mean, and they can snap on you on a dime. Don't take that personally. That's just how they are, because they're horrible people. Right? But just keep calm and just tell them your thought process, whatever. When I did that, I calmly said to my instructor, I'm sorry. I thought that was illegal. My driver instructor told me that it was illegal. I'm sorry. They'll forgive you. That's what I did during my test, and that's how they didn't mark me off a point. Even though I didn't follow their instructions, I still made the right turn where they wanted me to, right? And I did everything else. I just didn't do that part because I thought it was illegal. Anyways, last thing is that when you get your permit, they take a photo of you, and then that photo will be printed on your permit. That same photo will be used for your driver's license. If you took that photo and you looked ugly and crusty and you want to retake the photo, you have to tell them. If you don't tell them, then they won't retake your photo. Right? You have to tell them, hey, can I retake my photo? Then they'll retake your photo, and then you can get all glammed up. You can do whatever you want and retake your photo. You can be like, but anyways, with that being said, if you're able to follow these steps and get your driver's license, congratulations, you're now a driver. Right? There will be some restrictions on your driver's license. For example, if you are under the age of 17, you can't drive with other minors in the car, and you can't drive between the hours of, I think it is 11 to 5 p.m. Right? 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Right? Kind of a bummer, but that's just how it is. If you get stopped by police and they see that there's other minors in the car and you're a minor, you'll get a point on your driver's license. And getting a point on your driver's license is bad. That's like getting a strike. If you're driving past between those 2 hours I just said, another point. Get into a collision, that's even worse. Right? But the reason why I kind of urge you, the person that's watching this, to get your driver's license now is that if you get your driver's license at 16, let's say 16, right? After 2 years of holding your license, either 2 to 3 years, the insurance company will pretty much reduce the cost of your insurance by 30%. And insurance can get expensive. If I was driving a new car, and I've only been licensed for a little under a year, right? I have a little under a year of driving experience, right? If I were to go and I got a brand new Honda CR-V 2024, right? Let's go last year's model because I don't know if they have this year's model. 2023 Honda CR-V. They're going to be like, okay, well, your insurance is going to be $600. And that's a month, right? That is a full month. And I'll be paying a lot of money a year in order to pay the insurance for my car. But if I have my license for 3 years, they're going to reduce that cost because they're going to be like, he's an experienced driver. We don't need to, you know how I need to drain his pockets for money? He'll probably not get into a crash. Right? So if you get your driver's license at 16 and you don't drive, your parents still drive you to school. It doesn't matter if you're driving or not. As long as you hold that license for longer than 2 to 3 years, they're going to reduce your costs. And the same is for that even if you're adult. If you get your driver's license at 23, you won't experience that cutback, that reduced cost until you're 26, wait, what did I say, 25? Yeah, 27, 28. Right? So that's why I urge you to get it now. Because even if you're not going to, drive, it's still good to have and hold so that your insurance later will be cheaper. And you'll be thinking, well, why would I drop $400 right now to get my license and then have to pay $600 in insurance? Well, if you drop $400 now, you could be looking at insurance that costs $300 to $200, or maybe even $100, right? You'll be getting cheaper insurance, so it's pretty much like an investment. Over time, you're going to have to be paying these high bills when if you had just paid some money earlier, you would be experiencing lower bills. But anyways, to conclude, if you follow my presentation, I don't know how long this is, I don't know how long I've been recording, but if you follow my presentation step by step and you find that it's helpful, congratulations. And if you do get your license and this video did help, congratulations. But anyways, that brings me to the end of my presentation.